So guys, tune into the show. Don't miss it because it's going to be an amazing show. You are going to be touched. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be excited. It's Thursday, 11 o'clock on a Thursday. The Message Talk Show with Alex Gordon. Yes, don't miss it. So guys, tune into the show. Don't miss it because it's going to be an amazing show. You are going to be touched. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be excited. It's Thursday, 11 o'clock on a Thursday. The Message Talk Show with Alex Gordon. Yes.
Good morning, folks. Good morning. This is your host, Alex Gordon, on the Message Talk Show. Welcome today to, the most fantastic show across London. Yes, the most fantastic show across London. It's Thursday. Get a cup of coffee. Get a cup of tea. Call your friends. Call the people you hate the most. Call them. Call them and say, guys, you need to tune into the Message Talk Show today because you know what? It's got an amazing guest on this show, and this lady is going to blow your mind. She's going to blow the concepts in your head. She's going to blow every thought you have about the way you think and the way you do things. She's going to give you a new perspective. So call your friends. Get in touch with every one of them because it's going to be an awesome day. So I want to welcome you to the Message Talk Show today because you know what? It's just great to be another week, another year. And with all the challenges that we face in life, with all the problems, we can still smile. We can still speak to each other. We can still say hi. And, you know, I just think that's such a blessing just to be able to breathe the air. I know some of us have challenges. I know some not working. I know the situations are not great, but just got to be grateful. Just got to be grateful. Be grateful and be thankful. So on the Message Talk Show today, we work with people. We work with trainers. We work with educators. We work with content creators. We work with people on the spectrum of creation. Do you know what? My background's accountancy. All right? And I never thought I was a creative person. I was stiff. People used to say to me, Alex, you don't fit the stereotype of an accountant. You're not quite that. You know, there's something about you. But I never thought I was creative. I never really thought I was creative. It was only my later years, pushed by my local church, by all the things I did there. And I began to realize that I had a creative gene inside of me. And slowly I allowed it to unravel itself and come out of itself. So on the Message Talk Show, I am coming for you. I know where you are. You're hiding. You're sitting there thinking, I can't speak. I'm not creative. I can't do this and I could do that. But I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. So wherever you are, book yourself on the Message Talk Show because you've got something to share with the world. You've got a gift. You've got something that needs to be celebrated across the world. So we work with people. And when we talk with people, we talk about passionate and mission-centered people about propagating their message across the world to bring change. Yes, change is happening, guys. Change only happens when you take action, when I take action, and all those actions accumulate together to form the change that we're looking for. If we sit back and wait for someone else to do it, it's not going to happen. So you're on the Message Talk Show today with Alex Gordon, and it's great to have this lady on the show today. So let me just bring her on before she starts thinking, Alex, you've forgotten me here. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Alex. How are you?
Hey, I am fine today. I am wonderful. How are you keeping? You are, I was saying earlier that, I was going through this book by Lady 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 Mensah the brand. Yes?
Yes, that's me.
And this book just blew my mind. I'm thinking, wow, that's a revelation. That's a revelation. That's a revelation. So today, guys, we've got Lily Mensah on the show today. We're talking about how to brand yourself without ignoring your quirks. So, Lily, I take it that the reason why you're talking about quirks is that you got quirks yourself.
Oh gosh, I'm so quirky. But I need to go back to your intro. I'll come back to quirky, but I need to go back to your intro. In terms of accountancy, hadn't you heard about creative accounting? You are a great you are a creative genius if you become accountant because having creative accounting is part of the schooling. I had to grab that one. Um,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, yes.
So creative accounting, creative writing, creativity. I mean, a good accountant actually tells the story behind the numbers.
Right,
Yes,
right, yes. Now you're
but
digging deep. Yes.
I'm digging deep. But being quirky means that everybody has quirks around them, and being quirky means that you continually do the things that make you. None of the fingers that we have is the same. I mean, even the left and the right hands do not match. We're all different. The eyebrows do not match. And those of us who try and match the eyebrows will realize that even twins differ. So we all differ. We have to find the quirky things around us that make us different and then talk about those to the people that matter. And then we're leading the conversation about our brands rather than other people telling our stories for us. So being quirky is if you ask people the three things that they can describe me with, the three words, I can guarantee you that quirky, the word quirk is one of the words that will come up.
Wow. The three words that people will describe you as, guys. Have you got three words that you know that people use to describe you? They are clearly you when they're talking about you, guys. So, you know, today is a special day. And it
Yes.
was this quirky lady who reminded me, she reminded me, Alex, do you know that our interview is taking place on Thursday, the 25th? So, Lily, tell us what happens on Thursday, the 25th.
Two things actually. Well, the 25th, two things. I gave birth to my first child 41 years ago. That's the most important thing.
Wow.
And the second one is, yes, I'm a grandmama four times over as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But what the whole world celebrates, well, Americans and Canadians, is Thanksgiving Day, which is normally the fourth Thursday of November. There's no particular date, but it's the fourth Thursday. Some days it could be the 22nd, but it's the fourth Thursday of November where I lived in America, so and I remember this is going to come out terribly badly. Thanksgiving, my first Thanksgiving, I didn't actually understand it. And I remember, I think my mom had come to make sure that I had settled. That was about 15, 20 years ago, to make sure I'd settled. And I decided I was going to do the Thanksgiving thing. I didn't know what to cook. So, so I went to the local pot shop and they literally would give you the almost done turkey, the greens, the cakes, everything done. As I said, they'll say, how many people are you feeding? 6 people, and they will do it all for you. So I took the whole stuff, everything, like cornbread. I didn't even know how to make cornbread, but those are some of the things that I learned about Thanksgiving. It's food for the family, and everybody, every denomination, every religion comes together to say, give thanks for everything that they've had during the course of the year. So yes, it's Thanksgiving Day, and I quite like it.
Okay, so if you're watching us from the USA, even from
Yes.
Australia, even from Jamaica, wherever you're watching from, all right? We're wishing the Americans happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We haven't quite got a song to sing to you today. So happy Thanksgiving, guys. Enjoy the day, because I believe in America, everything goes quiet today. Everything stops in its tracks.
Yes.
Nothing moves. No sales are taking place. People are just celebrating Thanksgiving. And that's good to
Food
be.
and family.
Food and family. I think that's great. That's awesome to have some time just to pull yourself back and appreciate what's really important. The money, the fame, the cars, the tools, the techniques, that's not what matters, guys. What matters most is who's around you the most, the family, what you create, what you bring to
Yes.
this world. Okay, so let's get on with this show, because we've got so much things to get through today. So let me just first jump on the show today and ask you my favorite 3 questions that I ask everyone when they come on the show. And here it is. Who are you? Who do you serve? And what got you here?
Who am I? My name is really Nadia Mensah. I'm a brand strategist, and I work. And who do I serve? Brand strategist, and I also talk and teach about inclusion and belonging, because I think everything that I've done is around people, and if people do not feel that they're included in the conversation around the table, they're not going to flourish. So I work on brand and personal brand, and I work particularly with women, but I do have male clients. I work with women, I serve women to bring the best out of them. And what got me here? I just found various things that I put together in terms of who do I want to serve, where do I want to go in the future, and what will my legacy be? And my legacy, I felt, was my book, to talk to people about how to brand yourself without breaking the bank. So it's like a workbook. And I've actually since created a workbook around it that I call the playbook. Again, it feeds on the American way of the American football, where they have a playbook, which is a guide on how to win games. So that's what got me here. I love talking, I love teaching, I love people. The human side of branding is what got me here. So I hope that's answering your question. Personal branding is my thing, and I love people.
So it was inevitable that you were going to come on the Message Talk Show at some point, because you love talking, you love sharing, you love putting out. So at some point in your destiny, in your path, the Message Talk Show was going to cross your path at some point. So let me start with saying, what is branding? Can you explain what branding is to us, please? And especially the guys, because we look at branding in a very different way from how women do. So what is branding?
Branding is about putting your name on something. If you go back to how farmers they had cattle, they had horses that would run across the fields into someone else's field. If you did not put your mark on your cattle, on your horses, it could go away and you could lose your money, or you could lose your cattle. So farmers started to brand their animals, and branding is also about putting your name on something and owning your brand. But in order to do that successfully, you have to know what it represents and work towards that. And I think for me, because I do personal branding, it's about using your God-given talents to realize your aspirations. We all have brands, whether we like it or not, but how effective that brand is depends very much on you and the conversations that you've created around you. So that's what branding is, really, in the simplest term. It's about owning your own brand, whether it's owning your name on the internet, whether it's owning or even having an appearance. I wear a lot of strong colors because I believe that I'm recognized more based on my colors. If you see somebody wearing red with short hair coming, it's likely to be that quirky lady who chats a lot and comes on the Message Talk Show and does that. So it's about having something strong and recognizable for it to be effective. So that's what branding is. Putting your name on it, putting a ring on it.
So stamping your name on something for it to be recognizable. And I remember there's one particular guy that over the years I have always remembered as an entrepreneur, And it wasn't because, I don't know if it was because he was so well branded or what he did. It was the things that he did for his brand. And Richard Branson, I remember the balloons across London. I remember significantly the balloons that he was in across London, all the things that he would do up in the sky. And, you know, all the news would report Richard Branson's in the sky again and his balloon and he's doing this and he did it always. And what he did significantly was create a space in my head that no one else could fill for Richard Branson. I was
No.
amazed by that. And so for me, and okay, Richard Branson wasn't someone who dressed nice. He wasn't a fancy dresser. He wasn't a fancy dresser, all right? But what he did was memorable. Now, why do you think it's important that when you stamp your name on something, you make sure that people remember you?
Because if you have a strong brand, people remember you and sell your brand for you, so that when it's time to make a buying decision, your name will be at the top of the list of people that will come, or even you might be number one. So being memorable and doing things, and I say that you cannot spell the word brand without the letter X. So find some exclusivity around it. So exclusive. People have to love it. So again, the X word, the X for love. People have to love what you do. So it's all about making sure that the emotions that people feel around you, it's something that they will remember long after you've left the room. So again, I think it was just Jeff Bezos that said, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Whoa.
So it's not when you're in the room and you're yakking away. That's done. It's when you're not in the room that people will still have to remember you. And by doing things continually and doing quirky things continually, people will, the memory thing will keep sticking, and eventually Lily's name will come up or Alex's name will come up for some service or the other.
So when you've left the room and they say things like, who the hell does he think he is? Huh? Who does he think he is? Look at what he's got on, or what is he talking about? People sometimes don't say very nice things when you leave the room.
Yes, but it's up to, do you know what? You can't please everybody. And I've always said that. You cannot please everybody, but you find the niche, the people that you want to serve. Because if you try and please everybody, then unless you have a big army of PR gurus and that, but if you're a small business, don't try and please everybody, because some will get you and some won't. So I wouldn't want to. Because I'm like, who the hell does she think she is? Well, do you know what? You're not my ideal client then.
Hey, some will get you, some won't. So don't worry. You're not my ideal client. So I'm not worrying about you today. You're not my ideal client. Do you know that concept of ideal client is probably not, it's something that's not new, but it's not something that people tend to resonate with all the time. People tend to, when I go out to meetings, before lockdown, I used to go out to meetings. People pitch you from anywhere. They don't know what you do, and the minute they meet you, they're trying to pitch you for their business. Yeah, I even get that online as well. LinkedIn, people just keep pitching you all the time, and they haven't spent the time to say, okay, does this guy meet my profile, or is my urgent client? People don't really do it all the time. Why?
Because it's a waste of time. You have to get to know the type of client that you want to serve. And I mean, there are times that you meet people and you think, oh, that might be an ideal client. But then after you've asked the questions and you've done the listening, you might realize that this is not the yummy client that I want. And in a few weeks down the line, there might be a problem. Not because the person is a bad person or the business is a bad business, but it doesn't fit the profile of perhaps how you work and how you want to work with your clients. They may not be able to scale up to your level and vice versa. And let me take it back to when I was also in accounting circles. There were clients that we couldn't work with because they did not fit. They did not meet the criteria of people that, organizations that we wanted to work with, not because they were either they didn't have the resources. So for instance, if we wanted to build a big complex in Canada, do we go for a small local business who knows the small local business that knows the terrain, or a big global business that is sitting somewhere in London? We would go for the small local business that knows the terrain and can actually help us build the big stadium that we wanted to build. So it's about finding people that can work with you, that can scale up to you based on your needs. And I think that's what we're talking about when we say ideal client.
Wow. Wow. So when I first met you, I saw you on
Yes, sir.
LinkedIn.
Yes, sir.
And I saw you on a show.
Mm.
And I heard you talking about something, and I thought, this is interesting. And it was very interesting because you then went into one talking about quirks.
Yeah.
And only after I got a draft of the book, I think, wow, this is amazing. The depth to which you go into quirks and you link it to branding. And
Mm.
then I saw all the plans inside the book. Guys, what I'm saying today, you have to get a copy of this book. Work your quirks. You cannot be in branding and not get a copy of this book. It's an amazing book. Work your quirks. Now tell us about the concept of work your quirks.
Thank you, Sir Alex. I forgot. I do call him Sir Alex. The concept about quirks is very, very simple. Um, I, Knowing me, if I don't have an acronym, I'll go off piste and everybody will forget. Will get bored. So quirk is the cue. If you're in branding or you want to stand out, the 5 things that you need to do or think about. So the cue is for quality. Bringing something to market has to have some quality with it. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to put this to market," and then, on a wing, on a prayer, it will sell. Whether it's your personal brand or the product that you're creating. So you have to do some testing around that, and so on. And so quality is number one. You also have to look about the uniqueness of what you're bringing to the table. How unique is the product or the service, or how unique are you? What makes you special? I is for integrity. We all know that without integrity, you cannot go far. So your word has to travel really far, because if you say to somebody you're going to do something, or somebody pays you money to provide something for them, you cannot be going, "Oh, maybe I'll do it tomorrow." Maybe no. Your word is your bond, and that integrity is something that if I'm recommending Sir Alex to somebody else to do his books for him, or for that person, I'll have to feel that, say, Alex has the integrity with which to deliver the service that I'm recommending him for. And the R is for realistic. Being realistic with your resources, being realistic with your qualifications, and so on and so forth. So be realistic with what you have. And because I serve a lot of women, and men as well, but women especially, we're not as kind to ourselves as we should be. And this is what I always say, that sometimes we spread ourselves so thin. We say yes to everything because we feel that we have to please everybody. But be kind to yourself is actually coming back up, gearing down. If you've driven a manual car before, I'm sure some people have never. In order to speed up, you need to really gear down before you can rev up. And so being kind to yourself is just sometimes forgetting the noise, just sitting quietly, being still, and knowing that you're regrouping in order to start again. Or for instance, if you've put something out there and LinkedIn is that place or Facebook is that place, they put something out there and you realize that, oh, I've made a mistake. You can always go back and edit it. It's not the end of the world. Don't beat yourself up. So Quirks, Quirk, quality, unique, integrity, realistic, and kind to self. And that's what Quirks means.
Wow. Be kind to yourself. Now, in the last 12 to 18 months, I think that one statement there is probably the one word that people just needed to hear every day about
Yes.
being kind to themselves.
Mm.
Because of all the pressures and because of what's happening around us, people just kind of beating themselves up. You
Yeah.
know, not being able to do this, not being able to do that. And so to try and be kind to yourself when you said about the noise, just stopping the noise,
Yes.
pulling yourself out of the noise, just to be kind to yourself. That's unheard of in the Western world. Because
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people, I can't afford to do
yeah,
this and I have to go and do it. But sometimes, and it's about boundaries, isn't it? It's about boundaries. And what I said earlier about saying no. When you say no to someone or something, you're saying a yes to yourself. Because it gives, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, you're grabbing that 15 minutes for yourself. So just remember that saying no to somebody else means that you're giving yourself a yes.
I'm giving myself a yes.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I noticed that you prefaced that when you talked about kindness, you prefaced it by saying you talk to women, and you know this is especially for women. So, what does that mean about blokes then? You know, what does that mean about? Does guys think about being kind, or does guys say we naturally say no all the time? Is it that we naturally say no as opposed to the women saying yes? Or what is it about
Um,
guys that's different from the women?
oh gosh, I don't want to speak to you. I don't want people to go and beat me up. But from my experience, it's my experience only that men can say no without the guilt.
Right.
They say
Okay.
no and that's it. But us women, we tend to feel guilty because we're very, we're like, oh, I can't. And then you give a reason why. If you can't, just say, I'm sorry, I can't. That's it. And that's what most men do. Women will say no and actually go on to explain why.
Right.
And it's maybe it's because of the way we've been schooled. But then of course, as I've grown older, I can just say no and not give an excuse and that's it. But it's about those and in some of the things that we've been fed. And I remember, I'm sure I've had a conversation with you before about feeling less than and
Yes.
limiting beliefs
Yes.
and
Yes.
all of
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes.
No, I believe once you put a name to a situation, you breathe air into it, and we don't need to have people selling us stuff based on our fears, and I think that is wrong, and I always push back against that. Don't be telling people that they've got imposter syndrome, they've got limiting beliefs, and we're having a big show or a big conference talking about your limiting beliefs or your imposter syndrome. Why? Alex, I mean, to be fair, each time I'm on air or I'm speaking or I get butterflies because I want to do well.
Yes.
And it's a natural state that if you're going on interview, you feel a little bit anxious. That is natural because you want to do well. Why are people selling us this concept that because you've got butterflies in your stomach, it means that there's something wrong with you and you've got two heads? And I'm always pushing against that
Yeah.
because they're feeding on those who are vulnerable and feeding and charging thousands to get them back to. Nobody can inspire, can motivate you. You can do it yourself, but people can inspire you to do better things. And
Yes.
this limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome, I'm not buying it because Maybe I'm blessed. I don't know. Oh, no, not maybe. I know I'm blessed, but I also want to help people to understand that they are enough, especially exactly where they are right now.
Yeah. I think it was a few months ago. I was listening to I think it was Tony Robbins, and he spoke about this imposter syndrome, which he said it's not real.
Of course,
it's
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 not.
a marketing ploy. It's a way guys extract large sums of money out of your pocket. But the one thing he kept saying was that you have a responsibility to change your state. And
Yes.
therefore, if something needs to happen in your life, if something needs to move or need to shift, you need to find a way to change your state, to
Yes.
shift yourself. All right. And so you have to take responsibility for that. But
Indeed.
by someone selling you imposter syndrome, by virtue of the end of that presentation, you're going to
Mm.
buy their imposter syndrome solution.
It pains me. It pains me. And I think also at the end of people sell ideas.
Yeah.
What is hard is the implementation. People don't realize that. So you pay loads of money to have a concept in the box. Implementation is where the real work starts.
Yes.
And are those people there to hold your hand for the implementation of that imposter syndrome solution thing? No.
They're gone.
It's gone. It's gone. And you're scratching your head and thinking, okay, I've paid for this and I've paid for that. Implementation is the footwork that you have to do, the walking that you have to do in order for you to reach a certain destination. So yes, having a strategy, having a plan is really, really good. Means you're 50% there. The extra 50% is you doing the groundwork, doing the walking step by step by step. And often there are no coaches there to help you with that implementation. Again, that's something that I hate.
You're on your own. You're on your own.
Yeah.
You're on your own. So in your book, you talked a lot about what we call personal branding. Let me bring this up because I did like this. I like this diagram.
Oh,
The minute I saw this diagram, I thought, wow, this is a 12-month training program on its own. On its own.
yeah. I wanted to create something on one page that I can see and use. And I remember looking at that and thought, oh, wow, that's it. That's my program. It's done.
No, I really liked it. And then what then happened throughout the book, you then had a picture element of this taking you through each chapter, and I thought that was great.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. So talk us through the 4 R's of your personal branding process.
The 4 R's, and again, think of yourself as this wonderful diagram, right? No, wonderful diamond. The book is around the diamond mining process. We're all diamonds in the rough. And if you think about diamond mines, they don't just get up and go down to the mines and just say, we're going to dig the diamonds, we're going to dig them. No, they do some research to find out where to dig in the first place and what to look out for. So the first bit is to do your research on your own diamond, as it were. What are you great at? And I always say personal branding is about building your strengths. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What do you actually enjoy doing? Because you could be very good at things, you could be very good at number crunching, but perhaps textiles, weaving is what you really enjoy doing. How can you marry the two? So it's about doing your research to find out what you're good at, your education, the other things that are not formal for you, because we all know that formal education can take you so far. So that's the research. That's the first R. The second R is to review what you found against your competitors. When they go to down the mine shaft, they come up with lots and lots and lots of dirt, lots and lots and lots of stones, and you only find a little bit that are diamonds. So you sort of tease out what's good and what's not so good and what's not so good we put to one side, because we all have our weaknesses. I'm not very good with numbers, but I have a very creative mind, and if I have to use the numbers to make something mean something, then I know that I can do them. I'm just not good at numbers. So you find out who are the competition, and what do they do that you can beat them at in a healthy sparring way. I don't believe in this nastiness or I'm beating people down so that I can walk over them and get to where I want to get to. No, find out who the competition and what they do good and what they don't. So that's the reviewing what you found. The next R is actually looking at what you found and then moving it to the next stage, which is trying to cut that diamond. Okay, that's where you refine the diamond. You cut it so that you realize that the diamond is going to sit on the stone, and you're going to look at it to get to the next stage. So what have you found, and how do you present yourself? And that's where you look at various ways, your wardrobe, your business cards. Yeah, and I think in chapter 7, everybody, ladies, chapter 7 is really juicy. Look at various ways with which that you can present yourself and stand out against the competition or against the world, because you could be in a lawyer, but then you want to be a lawyer in a different way. You don't want to be a commercial lawyer. You want to do other things like probate. You want to do family law. How do you stand out from all the lawyers that you have? Because if commercial law doesn't appeal to you, but family law does, go there and make sure that you stand out so that when recruiters are looking for you, you stand out there as the best family lawyer there is. And then you move yourself, now that you've cut the diamond, you move yourself to the next stage where you're always updating you're always updating your diamond. So you've moved it from Tiffany's, you're at Tiffany's and you've moved yourself, and then you've got a little jewelry box or something that you've put yourself. Don't put your diamond. Don't create your CV, don't create your bio, and put everything in one place and then park it there. It needs to be refined, it needs to be forever going forward and changing. I think, Alex, you mentioned about changing your mindset, and continually changing will mean that you don't stand still for too long, because the world has changed. We're all brought up to, or some of us who are of a certain age, were brought up to go and do certain professions, and if you didn't do those, you did that for 40 years and then you retired. The world has changed, so you have to be evolving over and over again, and that's what I think will help you or help the brand move across all the 4 R's from mine all the way to Tiffany's and beyond. So that's it.
Wow.
So it's research, review, reveal, and refine.
Refined.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
reveal is your wardrobe and stuff, and then finally refine. So it's about refining what you found continually, and then the process will start again, maybe in a couple of years' time. Go back, have another look, and see how you can rebrand the 4 R's around where you are at that particular moment.
So I take it that you love diamonds.
It's a girl's best friend.
You love diamonds. You talk about diamonds, and in your book, it's littered with diamonds all the way through.
I
But
know.
you said something. You said something there. You didn't go into it, and you said, "Ladies, chapter 7 is juicy." What did you mean by that? What is in chapter 7 that you're not telling us?
Again, chapter 7 was. I remember when I had a book coach. Her name is Sarah Holcroft. Maybe you can talk to her afterwards, and she can talk to you about books and stuff like that. But when I was writing the book, I got stuck, writer's block, as we all do. And she said, okay, go away and write the chapter that you love most. So chapter 7 came long before chapter 3. I
Wow.
just wrote it. And then she said, add some more. Then chapter 7 is about the head to toe visuals of brand you. So from the top of your head to the sole of your feet. And it's about, and I went very deep, and I'm sure this is a family show, so I'll rephrase. It goes from undergarments
Yes.
all the way to your outer garments and anything in between, because you can always go to that meeting, and when the undergarments are not quite fitting, you're in trouble. So it's about helping yourself
Everything has
shine
to be in
all the
sync.
time.
Everything has to be in
Yes,
sync.
because
So you're
if
comfortable.
you're exactly be comfortable, and look at what fits your figure and what fits with how you stand, your feet, the shoes. I mean, when we all used to go networking, I'm sure you would find me in the most stylish shoes, but I used to hold have my flats in my handbag, and when I got to a certain place, I would excuse myself, go to the powder room. Yeah, go to the powder room and change into my heels. Everybody happy, including my corns.
You had some trainers or something flat to make you comfortable. Okay, that's true. I've never had that experience. My, wow, I'm missing something here, guys. We're missing something, guys. We're missing
You're
something.
lucky. You're lucky. You don't have to wear high heels. But it also, when you wear high heels, you stand differently. You stand taller.
Wow.
You stand taller. Your diaphragm. Even when you're presenting, I always say, stand if you can. So the times when I'm presenting, even on Zoom or things like this, actually stand so that
Yeah,
I
the energy.
project better.
Yeah.
The energy is better, and so on and so forth. So if you stand maybe 2-3 heels, 3 inches. No, I think 2 inches now for me. I'm getting old. It's enough,
Wow.
just so I can stand better, and my diaphragm and everything is much better. So, yeah.
Now, you said something else about evolving, but before we go to evolving, let me just welcome again my guest coming from all over the world. I don't know where you're tuning in from. Today, we're talking about how to brand yourself without ignoring your quirks, because we believe that there's something special about you. There's something unique about you, and you can't just keep showing one side of you. You need to show the other side, and that's what makes you different. That's what makes you stand out from the rest of the crowd. So whether you're joining us from, call your friends, call them and tune into the Message Talk Show, because we have Lily Mensah on the show today talking about personal branding. Now, there was something you said earlier, and you said about evolving. We're all evolving, and
Mm,
you said about there are some professions that we were geared up to be trained for or go for, and spend the next 20 years doing that. Several
mm,
years ago, I was in a coaching session in Hammersmith, and this was a room full of about 30 people in total in that room. And the coach was drilling us and talking about our past and our experiences. Are we where we wanted to be? What got us here? And he was digging. And this one lady opened her mouth and she said, tears started to flow down her eyes. You could see the tears just flowing down her eyes. And
mm,
he said, what's the matter? And she said, I trained to be an architect, and I never wanted to be an architect.
mm, mm,
My father encouraged me, my mum encouraged me, and that was a profession they chose. And I spent years just trying to please them to
mm,
be an
mm,
architect. And she said she became an architect, had a very good job in the architect, but she was not happy. She was not
mm.
fulfilled. And so when he
Yes.
when he was talking to us about where we've been and where we want to go and what's happened to us, tears just started pouring out of her, because she just felt like she's wasted so much of her time in something that
Mm.
she didn't really want it to do. So we asked her, what do you really want to do? What is it that you desire to do? And she said, all I ever wanted to do was work with children. I think,
Oh,
wow. All I ever wanted to do was work with young children. Can you believe that? And there's hundreds of people around like that who who are seem as though they're in thriving professions, but they're not fulfilled. They're not
Yes.
happy because they wanted something else for their life. And that's what I liked about what you said. We're always evolving,
Yes.
and we have to keep that evolving going.
It's very true though, but what is good about today's world and my children's world is that we've stopped beating them up with the things that perhaps we were taught, which was, I mean, you I don't know about your background, but I can assume that your parents probably wanted you to do one of the four professions. So this lady, and being an architect was a very respectable profession. I call it the civil service factory. We're all brought up to go through the civil service factory: a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, and an accountant. Anything else means that you're a failure. And so a lot of people I know have also been through that journey where, but an architect has the most creative minds as well to actually design things and merging that thinking, I mean, that architectural training and using that to work with children could be, and I hope she was able to combine the two, her yearning to work with children and her creative spirit to design structures would have been, or maybe teach in a
And the
school
two.
and and blend the two. If she was a client of mine, that's what I would encourage, not teach in the school, but work with children who want to be in that profession and guide them to do that sort of thing in a different way based on her experience. So there's nothing, if you go back to that diamond, there's nothing that is wasted, because when you go back to what you collected in the past, nothing should be wasted. You just put it to one side. You can always go back and get some other jewels, some other stones that may not be diamonds, but there's some other stones that come up as well, and you can blend the two. So it's never wasted when you've done your research.
Wow. Now, there's one thing you constantly refer to in the book, in your personal branding book, and I noticed it. I picked it up. I picked it up the first time. I thought, okay, and you mentioned it again and again. And there was a diagram that you did, and it was at the heart of one of your diagrams. And you talked about Shiro.
Oh yeah.
Explain to us, what is Shiro?
I picked it, and Shiro is somebody. Well, I picked it up something either from Maya Angelou or one of the American greats, which is a female version of a hero.
Okay.
So it was Shiro, but I call Shiros those a close network of women who you don't just hang out with. They're the ones that will come and pray with you. They're the ones that will come and cry with you. They're the ones that will come and eat with you. They're the ones that will come and hold your hand. They're the ones that will come and hug you. They're the ones that will come and help you do your CV. And help, those are the Shiras. They're there for every major milestone in your life. And they inspire you and they support you. So they're the Shiras. And normally in our network, it's a very small circle of Shiros that we have. And we have to, and they're the ones that will sell us in our sleep, because they know everything about us. They know everything that we do. So if your name comes up and you've got a Shiro, you've got a few Shiros in your back pocket, you're made up. And at the beginning of this year, I created a month-long Shiro session on International Women's Day. And every day I celebrated a woman that has been there for me in my career and in my life. So from my mum to my daughter and all my ex-bosses and my sister, my cousins, my school friends, all of them. So I think I've got 31 women in that pack.
Amazing. Wow.
Or maybe 28. It was a weekday thing. So yeah.
Have
All
you
my
got a
shoes.
Shiro? Have you got a Shiro in your life, guys?
Yes, guys should have their own Shiro because women hold up 50% of the world.
Wow. Wow. So let me just jump on some questions now that's coming in from the public.
Oh, okay.
And let's hear what they've got to say here today. Well, today's question is... Oh, no, let's jump with this one first. No, you answered that one. You've answered that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Your version of branding unmasks the individual. Why?
We're all, Mike, we're all looking at people in a singular way. So people will look at Lily, for instance, and see me normally in a bright red suit or bright red top. But in terms of what makes me unique is that I have also very strong Ghanaian cultural heritage. And I bring that to my work. I also bring that to my wardrobe. So what you see here is made of kente cloth
Okay.
that cuts through the western top that I'm wearing. And it's about making sure that the all sides of you are presented when you see when people see you, rather than the perfect western top. Bring all of you,
Yeah.
your cultural differences, your everything. That's what makes conversations richer, because being just the person that is singular, is one dimensional, it's not going to make you memorable. It's about bringing all of you to the table, and but that comes with learning what your strengths are and what you come as in I've never been able to say this word without fluffing it, but I'll say it. Unapologetic. Unapo- don't apologize about who you are. That's it.
Unapologetic. Unapologetic.
I knew I was going to stumble on it.
Unapologetic,
I gave you warning, right? So just don't apologize for who you are.
Yeah.
And go to that table where people know that this person, her beliefs might be different from ours, but she has something to bring to the table. She may not be your typical straight corporate person, but what she brings will bring flavor, will bring strength, will bring some tenacity. Because being a Black woman in the UK means that you need to work twice, three times as hard in order to do well in what we do. So go to the table. I always say, being not apologizing for walking straight to the table and sitting down.
Claim the seat.
Claim that seat. Hold your head high, and when you've got that choker on, you can go anywhere. Trust me on that. My friend makes them for me. It means that I'm different, and people will look at me and think, "Who is this person?
Instantly.
Who thinks that she belongs here?" Without saying a word, I'll sit at that table and let somebody who thinks that they're better than me come and try and inject me. I belong here. If you, and sometimes I don't belong, I just go and sit down.
Hey, that's
and
the
let
attitude
someone
to have.
check
That's
me
the
out.
attitude to have, isn't it?
Yeah, because it then puts the onus on someone else to chuck you out.
Yeah.
And
Stop
very
asking
often they
permission.
don't.
Stop asking permission to come to the table.
Yes.
Because
Just
if
go
you ask
sit
permission,
down.
someone's going to tell you no.
Yes, exactly.
Someone's going to have the audacity to tell you no. Yeah.
And half the time they don't. It's too scared.
They're obnoxious.
But it will then create, as British people, we tend to be very apologetic about everything. So in order for someone to have the audacity to come and eject you from your seat, they have to circle around several people and whisper around several people and go, "Excuse me, Excuse me.
I was just about to say that word. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yes. Sorry. And by that time, you started talking to your next door neighbor on the
Excuse
table.
me.
You started the dialogue and
Yeah.
the excuse me and the I'm so sorry. No, it's gone. I'm already having my conversation. It's very difficult to eject somebody like me or somebody who feels that they belong. But that's probably because of the background of I can go everywhere and I can be anything I want to be. And I'm blessed because of the strength that my parents have given me, the schooling and everything that I can be anything I want to be. And my mom tells me all the time.
And
Bless her.
something you said there, which is so true. The
Mm.
UK is so much richer because of the diversity of nationalities, the
Yes.
diversity of people, the mix of people that live here, that they combine their music, they combine their fashion sense, they combine
Yes.
their ideas. There's such a fusion in this
Mm.
country of diversity. And sometimes we overlook it. We are so caught up in our own little worlds and we overlook the strength of what we've created in the UK. And
Yes.
it's something to be celebrated. It's something to be celebrated. And I know you see it in the music a lot. You see a lot of it in the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm.
sometimes I hear my son listen to some music and I said, "Who's that singing? Who's that?" Oh, and he tells me the name. I said, "Oh, I don't know him." He said, "Yeah, well, Dad, you're an old man, innit? You don't know these guys." And I heard, recently he played a track for me, and this was an Asian guy singing, right? I said,
Okay.
"But where did this Asian guy learn to sing like that?" And
Mm.
he sounded, this Asian guy was a mix between Caribbean and his own nationality. You know,
Interesting.
he would flip into a bit of rap with something else, and a bit of
Mm.
an accent that you think, where did he get that from? Yeah. And my son said to me, "Well, Dad, all his life he's been living among black people. All his
Mm.
life
Mm. Mm.
he's been
Mm.
living." So the way he sings, the way he acts, and everything that comes forward presents that. It shows where he's coming from. And I'm thinking, if only we could just celebrate in this country the diversity of richness that we've
Mm.
created, that we've got, and use it to our advantage, then sometimes trying to tear down what we've got. It's amazing. It's just amazing what we've created, and I'm so thankful for that, because I'm thinking the music is, I love Adele. My God, if I could sing like Adele, that'd be amazing. Can you imagine a black version of Adele?
A black male version of Adele.
Adele, yeah. But
But
then,
talking about music, Ed Sheeran
oh
partnered with some African
yes,
guys, and I think it was Shape of You.
yes,
And that
yes,
song is, so
yes,
it's
yes,
mainstream and mainstream and African and Caribbean is beginning to merge
yeah.
in a way that is really, really
Fusion.
positive.
It's a fusion.
Yeah.
It's a
So
massive fusion.
yes, talking about Adele, I went to see, and I have to do a little humble brag here. I went to see, I went to see Adele on her very last night at Wembley, before her voice went,
Wow.
and it was, I mean, it was standing room only, but still, I was there. I was in there, and she was just amazing. But
Tore it up.
it's she just has that natural way of engaging with the
Yeah.
audience. And again, it's about being her
Yes.
without apologizing. What
Without
you
apologizing.
see, what you
What do you
get.
get?
She walks on stage without shoes. And I mean, I saw her. Okay, this is that Adele fan club here. I saw her. I saw her on the TV the other day, and her teacher was there. A teacher who was then when she was growing, and I think she was in year 8 or something, the teacher came
Wow.
up on stage and she started to cry and her makeup all melted. She said,
Wow.
"Hold up." And she went to do her makeup, and I think she gave the mic to another comedian, and he tried to sing. It was all very
Touching.
natural,
Yeah.
and it wasn't forced.
Yeah.
But don't forget that a lot of work goes behind the scenes for it to look effortless.
Yeah.
Don't
But Adele is that kind of person that will just throw off her shoes. From all the videos I've seen, throw off her shoes and she start talking. You're thinking, my God, what are you talking about, Adele? and
yeah.
and she'll just switch. She'll switch just do something unrecorded. So
Yeah.
she's not a person who's well produced in that sense. She doesn't manufacture what she does. It all comes from her heart within. That's what
Yes.
appears to happen.
It's
That's what
not that
appears to happen.
manufactured, yeah,
Yeah,
or
what appears to happen.
rehearsed, over rehearsed. But
Over
she
rehearsed.
does. Yeah, I think her music is very well rehearsed, so that she knows she's got in the
Yeah,
bag,
yeah.
and then the rest of it is about her personality. So yes, Adele.
Well, you learn something. I mean, and this is what I did in speaking and coaching. You learn something so well that you can then talk about it backwards.
Mm.
Yeah,
And I
and then
think
you throw away the script after that.
yes, my book, what it has given me is has given me a structure
Yeah.
that I can go backwards and forwards
Yes.
without referring to it.
Yes.
And writing my book helped me crystallize my thinking around personal branding because I knew what I was doing, but it wasn't that scripted.
Wow.
But once I'd written it, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago, it's easy
this is
for
your
me to
$1 million
go back.
coaching program. This is your
Yes.
mastermind for a whole year. You've got content there coming out. You could create content for the next 12, 14, 24 months and not worry where the content's going to come from because it's all done in that book.
Yes.
Spin-off from what you've done. Hey, Lily, it's been amazing talking to you today. It's been amazing tapping into your mind, into your book. Lily, you haven't held the book up, Lily. You haven't told people where they can get your book from, Lily.
Oh. Let me put my specs on. So this book, is it held up properly?
Yeah, go to your right a bit because there's a light shining on it. Go to your right.
My right.
You're right.
Is that right
Yeah,
or
that's
left?
fine. That's fine. Yep, that's fine. The light was shining on it just then. Yep, brilliant. No, you can make it. We can see your face as well. Put your face the other way so we can see your face.
Well, okay. So this is Work Your Quirks, the businesswoman's companion for a sparkling personal brand. We want your brand to sparkle, just like the diamond that you are. That's why we got this diamond in the hand over there. And you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on my website, lilymensah.com. That if you want a signed copy, you can get it on Audible. I actually recorded it myself with my voice, my dulcet tones. So yeah, you can get that everywhere really. But if you want a signed copy, and I've also got it on CD if people still use CDs, and on a pen drive. So that's it. Any which way you want, you can get this book, and it's a book I'm very proud of. And I have something else coming up, Alex, that you didn't know about, which is I spoke to you about it earlier, which is the playbook, which you can fill in yourself as you work through your quirks. So that's it. Work Your Quirks by Lily Mensah. Thank you. Is that
Wow.
over? Okay.
Wow. Work Your Quirks by Lily Mensah. Yeah, she didn't tell me about the playbook. She was keeping it a secret. She was keeping it to herself. And she just thought she'd tell us now. Isn't that nice of you, Lily, just to tell us now on my show about your playbook? So your playbook is also available where?
We're working on it right now. It will be on Amazon, which I'm trying to make it a playbook that you can fill in, editable PDF.
Okay.
So it is your own playbook about your own personal brand.
Wow.
And then you fill it in, and it's that journey of expansion. And so that's what I call it, the Work Your Quirks, the playbook.
Okay. Before I say
Coming
goodbye
in
to
January.
Lily.
Yes.
Before January. Okay, January. Look out for it in January, Lily. Before I say goodbye to Lily and her final word, not a sentence, not a chapter, not a book, not a paragraph, but a final word to inspire you, let's just go to our sponsor.
Hi. My final word is work your quirks wherever you find your strengths. That's where your quirks are. I'm still on. Not quite sure what to do. Final word. Okay. Alex. Oh, what am I doing?
No, you see,
You said
in
you were
these
going
things,
to do
right,
your
all you've got to do
sponsor.
is just keep going. Don't worry about anything else, right? Because
Okay,
nobody knows what's going on until you say what's going on, all right? As far as the public is concerned, you're just speaking.
You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon.
It's been a pleasure talking to you today, Lily. It's been a sincere pleasure talking to you, hearing your insights, hearing about the 4Rs, the 4Rs and the quirk. You'd be lecturing across the country. I said this to you before. You need to be on a tour around the country with this. You need to be on a tour.
And you're my tour manager.
You need to be on a tour with this, man. Just driving this home, about our branding, about standing out, and about understanding who we are, standing us our uniqueness, because there's so many people hiding their uniqueness. They think it's not worth it. They think it doesn't matter. You're thinking, in a country like this now, in the time that we're living in, everybody should be out there doing something and saying something and being something and becoming something and evolving into something. Everybody. But not everybody is. Some people are still held back by situation, by environment, by something in their past, by something around them. But here, guys, Lily Mensah is on the move and she'll be coming to a city near you, guys. So watch out for Lily Mensah as she takes a tour to the country in 2022. Say yes, Lily. Say yes.
Yes, I receive it.
Guys, thank you for listening to the Message Talk Show with host Alex Gordon. We're back again next Thursday. Keep watching out.
Miss the show. You got to be on this show.
So if you want to be featured on the Message Talk Show, just send an email to the Message Talk Show at masteryourmessage.co.uk. I will see you.